welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. Plenty of action coming ahead with Game 4 of the World Series and an in-depth look at the new season beginning this week in the NBA. But we begin with football and one of the biggest rivalries there are, the Spanish Clásico, Real Madrid against Barcelona. It was a full house, of course, at the Bernabeu, but the home fans were shocked early on when Neymar was on target. Leo Messi was very close to double that, but he missed. From that point on, the Merengues took control. The equalizer came before the break. Ronaldo scored from the spot. In the second half, Pepe and Benzema added two more. Real Madrid wins the first Clásico of the season 3-1. And both managers know that the better team on the pitch is the one that won.
L'esfuerzo que hemos tenido.
The effort is what stands out for me. We never lost our heads after the goal that we conceded early. We carried on. We kept pushing, and I think everything went well. I liked a lot of things about our play today. Above all, we had rhythm, a high pace, and we recovered the ball very well, and we recovered ourselves very well after Wednesday's game.
Soprattutto perché hemos tenido un ritmo muy alto.
Defeats very rarely strengthen you, but this defeat shows that we have an opponent better than us. We have to congratulate them and look at the mistakes that we made and fight to correct them. Otherwise, we'll just drop our morale.
Another interesting aspect of the match was Luis Enrique's decision to start the match with Luis Suarez, who returned from his 4-month ban, and the Clásico was his first official match. Like all of his team, he was not bad in the first half, but faded away in the second. And despite the substitute that took Suarez out for the final 20 minutes, Luis Enrique thinks it was a good idea to start with him.
No me arrepiento. Para nada.
No, I don't regret playing Luis Suarez from the start. I think that we were very good. He had a very lot more pace than I expected, and he's an important player who knows the way of working. He has been training with us right from the start of the season. So we changed him in the last half an hour because maybe he was lacking a bit of match fitness, but I don't regret starting him.
No me arrepiento para nada en ese sentido.
And of course, we will have all the analysis of the Clásico and the decision to play with Suarez tomorrow in our Talking Football show. Now to England, where the champions suffered a major setback on the way to a second consecutive title. Manchester City lost for the second time this season. This time it was 2-1 to West Ham at Upton Park. Morgan Amalfitano was on target in the first half for the home team. Farasako doubled their lead in the second. David Silva soon found the net for the citizens, giving them some hope, but it was not enough. West Ham wins 2-1. Now to the Bundesliga and to the team who's just a living example of the term mania depressia. We are talking about Borussia Dortmund. The mania is the Champions League, where they won their 3 matches so far, and they're practically assured of a spot in the next stage. The depressia arrives when they return to the Bundesliga. 80,000 fans produced an electrifying atmosphere, as always, at their Westfalenstadion, but Dortmund lost for the 4th straight match. This time they went down against Hanover. Hiroshi Kiyotake scored the only goal of the match just after the hour mark, and the team that played in the Champions League final just a year and a half ago is now just 1 point away from relegation zone. Now it's time for basketball, and the summer break is over in the NBA. The new season begins this coming Tuesday, and there's so much to watch for. Will LeBron's homecoming end in a championship ring? Can the Bulls do something about it? And what was the summer like for the teams from the City of Angels? Liz Barnbaum and Michael Friedman try to answer.
Make some noise for King James.
The NBA season is getting off in the United States, and this year the most exciting team is coming out of Ohio. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in great shape thanks to the return of LeBron James. After 4 years in Miami, the best basketball player on the planet returned to the place he began his career in 2003, a move that completely changed the NBA, leading to the new season and seen an increase in ticket sales in Cleveland. With the arrival of Kevin Love, the team is now the favorite, even if the stars are modest.
I mean, we just got started not too long ago, so every day is a learning process, every day is a comfort. You know, you got to go through something in order to create, you know, a bond, and that means for the worse. We got to lose ball games that we think we should have won. We got to get in an argument here and there every now and then just to test each other out.
Another big change for the team in the Midwest is the arrival of David Blatt, who left Maccabi Tel Aviv after winning the European Championship last season. Blatt is the first European to become a head coach in the NBA. The Chicago Bulls will be happy to have star point guard back after being injured for almost 2 seasons. The Bulls are also happy to have picked up Paul Gasol this summer from Los Angeles.
Having Powell, having someone that really knows the game, he's not going to get in your way. By the way, we were playing today, I was driving the ball, and he was just finding ways just to get out the way. And I think it just comes with experience, and of course, playing with Kobe so many years. But he makes the game simple. Little things that you don't even pay attention to, he does during the game, and it helps.
Despite Joakim Noah being fined after an altercation during a match against the Washington Wizards, the Bulls will begin the year with a talented squad. In California, the Lakers will look to bounce back after a failed season. Kobe Bryant will also seek to put his team up after a long break due to injury.
Get better every single day. Sounds cliche, but if you really think about it in its truest form, I think really that's the key. Because when you're getting better every single day, you can't help but do phenomenal.
The other Los Angeles team has seen a lot of controversy off the court. Steve Ballmer replaced Donald Sterling after his racial slurs.
The most important thing is what are my expectations for the Clippers, and my expectations are that we go to higher heights than we achieved last year, and that pretty quickly I figure out what the heck an owner can do to help support the folks who really have to go get the work done.
But this season will also have its share of notable absentees. Paul George, the star of the Indiana Pacers for the last 2 years, suffered a terrible injury during training of the World Cup and will not return for several months. The defending champion San Antonio Spurs did not make any changes to their winning team. The trio of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili are all back for this season. As we head into the new season, there appears to be outstanding basketball to come in the NBA.
And with me in the studio is our NBA analyst, David Matlin. Hi, David.
Hi, great to be here.
Thanks for coming. Let's start with LeBron, with the Cavs, the most interesting team. LeBron has been in the finals the past 4 seasons. 2 times he won, 2 times he only made the trip. Is there any realistic hope think that he will not make the trip this time, especially coming from the East that is not very strong?
Well, that's his goal. I mean, he came in here to bring this team to the top. He was more cautious this time than going to Miami. He didn't declare many championships here. He's entering with a different atmosphere, a different vibe. But yes, when you look at the Eastern Conference, there's not a lot of challengers out there. Not many, at least. You're talking about maybe the Bulls, obviously being the most significant team coming back this year. Maybe Indiana, depending on injuries there. Perhaps Washington. You're looking at a few teams that may pose a threat.
It's not only LeBron James. It's Kyrie Irving. Exactly. It's Kevin Love. That's a strong team.
The pressure's there. It's not on LeBron this year. He seems to have done well to keep the pressure off himself.
With a coach that we know very well, but it's his first experience in the NBA.
David Blatt, the pressure's on him for sure to make this squad work. Also on Kevin Love. Here's a guy who came in as a big star, never been to the playoffs. Now he's put with a good team with really no excuse. The pressure's on a few other players there. Kyrie Irving also. LeBron, for now, seems to have avoided that pressure of getting to a championship, but they seem like most likely contenders in the East.
Now, you mentioned the Bulls. Again, it all depends on how Derrick Rose will return, but he's there. We know what he can do. Joakim Noah and Pau Gasol with the experience. That's an interesting thing to watch.
Well, I guess I would challenge that. We're not sure what Rose can do yet, and that's what everybody's waiting to see now. There was a game here in the preseason where he hit the floor. The entire team jumped up off the bench to help him up. I mean, this is what everybody's holding their breath for. Will Derrick Rose be healthy for the season? Pau Gasol as well. I mean, this is another guy who's been plagued by injury. That's the question for the Bulls. Can they remain healthy enough to put together a challenge to the Cavs?
Now let's go west, and the Clippers with a new owner this time. They're a good team. Chris Paul is there. Blake Griffin is there. No controversy around with Sterling this time. They can go even higher than they did last season.
Maybe the key to them doing well this season is the fact that Sterling's removed from the picture. They won't be distracted by the drama of his situation, of any court proceedings. So Ballmer's come in, he's kind of cleaned the slate, taken Sterling out of the discussion for the Clippers, which is probably the best thing. But the Lakers are absent, so the Clippers should have a good season this year.
They should have the city, maybe they should have the conference as well.
They will.
And now let's talk about the champions, the Spurs. I think they're too old. I thought that last season, and they were champions. I thought that 2 years ago, they made the trip to the finals. Am I wrong again?
You're not the only one who's been saying they're too old. I mean, this has been years now. I would like to say they've been too old as a guy coming from Phoenix myself, but really for over 10 years, the Spurs have been the team to beat in the West. And as we've seen this last year, they're still that team. They are the team to beat again going into this year. As long as you have Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, that trio, backed by Coach Greg Popovich, this is still the Spurs that you've always known. They've added some new players, MVP, Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green. Yeah, they're the team to beat still in the West.
Talk about experience. We tend to say, what's so important about experience? We saw that last year. These guys come, they're old, but they know how to do it.
They're doing it, and that's the bottom line. They're coming off a championship here, another finals appearance 2 years ago. Anything's possible for these guys. No one can say there's a limit to what they can achieve now, and I hope that the critics are done saying these guys are over the hill.
And last question. We've said the Cavs are obviously the big favorites in the East. Can we point a favorite team in the West? Because there's the Spurs, there's Clippers, there's OKC.
There's a lot of teams that want to be looked at that way.
I know you want to say
exactly.
Suns,
the Clippers,
but
the Suns will be an interesting team in the mix. I think that adds to the intrigue. They're a good example of why the Western Conference is up in the air. Anybody really can emerge as a winner here in this conference. The Warriors are on the hunt. Yeah, OKC, they got something to prove. And the Clippers, of course, coming back. It's going to be an interesting year.
Absolutely, and the season begins Tuesday night. David Matley, thank you very much.
Great. Thanks to be here.
Now to baseball, and don't be surprised if the World Series goes all the way to a Game 7 finish. Game 4 was held last night in San Francisco. The local Giants were trailing 2-1 against the Kansas City Royals, and they were down 4-1 in the third inning, but then everything changed. Their offense was just brilliant from there on, adding 10 more runs and winning the game 11-4. The series is now tied at 2, which means we will go back to Kansas at least for one more game. If the Giants want to be champions, they will have to win it away from home. They're not afraid from the challenge, just as they were not afraid from going down 4-1 early on.
Yeah, I mean, once we got down, we knew we still had plenty of innings to go, and going into this game, we know how important it was, and we just never gave up. We scratched a run across to make it 4-2, and then after that, we had a good sense that we have a good chance coming back here. And like I said, we just never gave up, and that's just the way this team is. We're going to battle, we're going to scratch, and we're going to claw.
In many places throughout the Northern Hemisphere, you can definitely feel the winter, but not in Israel, where the weather is just perfect this time of the year. That attracted many international participants to the Israeli Water Ski Championship, the last international competition of the season that took place this weekend in Tel Aviv. Michael Friedman was there, and he seemed to be having a lot of fun.
I'm standing at Menachem Begin Park in Tel Aviv, which is featuring the Israeli National Open Championship. The Israeli Water Ski Federation is hosting several championship competitions, including slalom, tricks, jumps, wake skate, and wakeboard. There's competitors of all ages, including the juniors, open men, open women, and senior competition. As this is the last international competition of the season, many skiers have come from all around the world to take advantage of Israel's wonderful weather. The high-level championship was judged according to the IWWF rules, and each skier had been nominated by the federation. The head of the Israeli Federation and council member for water ski discussed the competition and what was special about this event.
We are on the 25th Israel National Cable Ski Open, 25 years. We are celebrating almost half anniversary. We can invite everybody to ski here. All the fans here that watching, they can come to try the water ski activity. It's very fun. It's very healthy.
Despite Israel being considered one of the leading countries in this sport, there appears to be less international participants due to this past summer's conflict in Gaza.
Normally we have a lot of skiers coming from abroad. This time we was not so lucky, maybe because of the war in Gaza, because normally this competition in end of October brings us a lot of skiers from Europe.
The competition featured the top professional wakeboarders in Israel, such as Lior Sofer. The athlete is known as the Chief from Tel Aviv and was crowned the Cable Wakeboard World Champion of 2014. The Israeli star landed many tricks and got high in the air during his run. He then had a beautiful 360 spin off of a ramp. But the athlete had to deal with some difficulties throughout the years, and in 2012, he was prohibited from competing at the Worlds in Abu Dhabi. Sofer told us what he thought about this competition after his final ride of the day.
It's crazy to see how many people came to this event. So happy right now, just like, I need to explain, never the amount of people who's coming here, it's never in this size. So, wow, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you, like TLV. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Sick.
This family affair brought fans from all over to watch some of the top water ski athletes in the world. With food, beer, and other shops at the competition, it gave everyone plenty to do outside of competing. It was also very special for fans to watch this event in Tel Aviv.
I gotta be honest, it's so amazing, being in Israel and having such amazing competition and watching it. I really enjoyed myself and can't wait to come back for the next one.
The championship concluded with a closing ceremony and all the winners receiving trophies. While the rest of the world is getting ready for colder weather, it appears that Israeli athletes have an edge as they prepare for future competitions.
Water skiing in Tel Aviv looks beautiful. That's it for us today. Thank you for watching. We'll be here again tomorrow with Talking Football. Make sure to watch us. Thank you for watching today. See you then. Bye-bye.